welcome to the Pigtown Cooking Demo Series in association with the local enterprise office
in the wonderful Limerick Milk Market. So good morning, we're here with Chef Michael Tweedie from the Adare Manor, the Oak Room, and we're kicking off the Pigtown Culture Food Series cooking demos in the Milk Market. So Mike, what have we got today?
So Tom, today, well, first of all, great to be back finally after a long time. So today we got a ravioli of crab. So the crab is from Bisque with some grapefruit and a lemongrass bisque. And then we're also going to cook a turbot with some, we're going to make a little braisage, really quick sauce. And we'll serve that some salt baked celeriac, circular, and a bit of black Australian truffle. So we're going to start off by making some pasta for the ravioli. So in the fermo I have flour and some salt. So what we're going to do is just going to blend that a little bit. Then we have some eggs and some egg yolks. Just going to whisk them quickly. And then we have a little bit of oil and water. So it's really important to do this ahead of time to let the pasta rest. So all we're going to do is just going to add this in slowly. Just make sure it's all mixed. So what we're looking for is a sandy texture, like this, okay? This is the texture we're looking for. All right, so we're just gonna remove this. Then we're gonna bring it onto the work surface and just work it for a little bit, okay? So, just going to knead it so it all comes together. Just working the gluten, picking up all them bits. So once this is all come together, we're then going to rest it for about 3 or 4 hours in the fridge in cling film. Okay, let's pick up all this a minute. You don't want your pasta too wet, because the time we try and put it through the pasta machine, it's just going to fall apart, alright? So it's better to be slightly drier, alright? So we'll put that down here. And this is the pasta we made before we started. So here. Okay. So that's what we're looking for. So it's still firm, it's had a really good, it's relaxed all its gluten. And then what we're going to do in a minute is we're going to put it through the pasta machine. Before we start putting it through, before we start doing the actual pasta, we're going to just quickly make the sauce. So, my pan. So, let's warm this up. So, these are my crabs that we've already cooked. These are male crabs. You can tell by the claws. So male crabs are generally a lot bigger than the female. So these are hand-picked from us from CS Fish in Doonbeg. Charlie, the father's owner, he goes out on a daily basis, picks the crabs for us. And yeah, so he knows exactly what size. So what we've done here, we just quickly cooked it for about 5 minutes. So what we're going to do is we have the white claw meat, which we're going to use for the ravioli filling. And then we have the brown crab meat. So what we do is we pasteurize the brown crab meat. We just literally take it out. You can see in here. I'll just take this off quickly. So in here, there's lots of brown crab meat. So what we do is we're going to finish the mousse with it, and we're going to finish the sauce with it, all right? And then we're not going to waste anything. What we're going to do is we're going to cut these bones up, and we're going to make the lemongrass sauce from it. So I already have some bones cut up. So we're just going to add some butter to the pan. So for the sauce, we have crab shells, we have some coriander seeds and some white peppercorns, and then we have shallots, ginger, and lots of lemongrass, all right? There's some fish stock, your classic fish stock. Just we make it with turbot bones or white bones, mirepoix white veg, and then we got some. And then what we'll do at the end is we'll finish it with some cream, all right? Just make sure I get the right pan on. Right. While that's warming up, I'll just show you how to break the claw meat. All right. So the claw meat, you've got to be careful when you break this. You're trying to get a little shell as you can. So you just snap it there. Okay. Get a spoon. So all we're going to do is we're going to go in with our spoon, and we're literally just going to pull that meat out. Okay. Nice big white crab chunks. Okay. So there's that one. Some meat there as well. Then what we do is we take the back of a knife. So you've got to be careful. So there's two main bits of cartilage in the crab claw. One here. So just pull that away from the cartilage. So you can just see there's a bit of cartilage there, all right? So we're going to use that for our sauce. So you can get back of a spoon. Just peel all that away, making sure we get all the meat, all right? So in the restaurant, obviously, we probably do about, I'd say we do about 8 crabs every couple of days for our crab dish. So that's the other bit of cartilage, okay? So you don't want to break this, because if you break it when you're picking down the crab meat, you won't find it in here. It's very hard to find. So keep that for the sauce, and then we just get a spoon in there. Making sure we get all that meat. All right, so that's your crab meat. All right, guys, you see nice big white flakes. So what we'd normally do is we'd pick this 3 times over ice water. The ice water is very important. Just keep it cold when you're picking it down. So we'll put that away, and I have some more that I picked this morning. So you can see that's what you're left with. Okay, so. Just going to go back to the sauce quickly. So we're just going to add the shallots, the ginger, right, we're just going to sweat them down with no colour, okay? And just a pinch of salt, alright? Just get this away. Just keep that white, would you? Yeah, I'll need it again. So, no colour, alright? So we're just going to sweat that down. release all their aromats. Sorry. So, this is the brown crab meat that we talked about earlier, pasteurising, so it's nice and thick, whereas before it's like a liquid. So we need that for the mousse. So the actual mousse is, what we do is we use a scallop mousse. So I've pre-made one here already. So we have so we have 150 scallop, 150 cream, double cream or singles, and then 1 egg yolk. So all we're going to do, I'm going to cut this bag off. Okay. So I'm going to take our lobster mousse, our crab. All right. We're going to take a spoonful of the brown meat. You don't want too much because it's quite strong in flavour. So, and then we're just going to put enough scallop mousse in there to bind it. Okay. Okay, so you can see there, just mix it in. Probably take a little bit more. All right. Now, I'm not going to add too much salt to this, okay? Because there's already salt in the scallop mousse. So add a little bit more. Just going to add a bit of lime juice. Okay. And that's our mousse done, okay? So we're just going to leave that in the fridge until we're ready to roll the pasta, alright? So, our sauce is our shallots and that are all sweating down nicely. In here I have some coriander seeds and some peppercorns, so we're going to add them. We're going to add our crab carcasses now and give them a light roast as well, alright? So we want to turn up the heat now. Alright. So we're going to get a nice light colour on there, alright? So, what we also have for this dish is a bit of grapefruit and a bit of basil oil. So the basil oil is made from basil and just veg oil. We blanch the basil, we refresh it in nice cold water, squeeze out all the water, and then we just blend it with some oil. And then what we do is let that pass through muslin cloth in the freezer. So the freezer traps all the water that's left in there. So what we get left is a lovely green oil, alright? So the grapefruit, just segments. So we just peeled it, obviously. We're literally we don't need too much of this. What we'll do, neaten that up. Nice big chunks. So we're probably looking at about 5 per ravioli. Okay, so that's what we're looking for, nice big chunks of grapefruit. So we'll just put them in there for the time being. We'll come back to that later. So you can see here now, we just get a nice caramelisation on the bones. Okay, so that's nearly there. What we're going to do is before we put the stocks in, we're just going to add a bit of the brown crab meat, just give it a bit more flavour. Okay. So, just going to roast that down. Turn that up now. So, right, so while that's cooking, we'll start rolling our pasta, okay? I won't need all of this right now. I'll just take a little bit. Okay, so you can see that, okay? So we're gonna add some stock. Said just chicken stock. And then I have some cream. Just going to reduce that stock a little bit. Make sure you scrape all the sides of the pan, alright? You don't want to waste any of this. Okay, just wait for that to come up to the boil, and then we're going to add the cream. So, pasta machine. See, I have a very fancy electric one. So, it's up to the boil now. Add your cream. And then we're just going to cook it out for about 40 minutes. So, and then we'll strain it off, all right? So, pasta. Just going to flatten that down. So, start on its widest setting. Would have helped if I brought a rolling pin, but I forgot that one. So we're going to put this through a couple of times really slowly, alright? So we're going to roll it down to about 3, then we're going to fold it back over and give it a few more turns just to work the gluten, okay? Just turn that down to a low simmer. So, just going to fold that back over itself now. And we're going to put it back through again. Okay. And just help strengthen the pasta. Don't try and put it through the gears too quickly, otherwise it will struggle and you'll break your pasta up, okay? So with these, what you can do as well, once you've made them, you can pop them into the freezer and cook them from frozen if you have too many. Or they'll store in the fridge overnight on some polenta, or we just leave them for service. So we just make them, and then what we do is we just store them on a J-cloth, on a dry J-cloth in the fridge, and they don't stick or anything like that. See how I've kneaded? So I'm going to put this through one more time, and that's us done. Notice how I'm not needed to add any flour or anything like that. So we try not to add any flour if we can. So we'll just leave them sheets there. So it's our pasta sheet. So we need 2 bits for this. So we're going to use a stamp, yeah? So need 2 sheets. So we're going to take a couple of spoonfuls of our pasta. So in the restaurant, this is normally just it's normally one of your first courses, a slightly lighter dish. We don't want to start you off too heavy. Okay. So this little stamper here, which is really handy for making raviolis. So that's why you need the 2 sheets. So make sure you're doing it on a nice even bench, okay? So just gonna carefully pick these up. All right. Okay. That's all we need. So we have our raviolis. So we wait for this water to come up to the boil. Alright, so once that water's boiled, I'm just going to put something on top of it to help it. Right, so while we wait for the water to come up, we can pass our sauce off, alright? So, colander. See now our sauce, okay? That's ready to go. So I'm just going to pass that off. Make sure we get all of that out. Just get rid of that. Okay, so that's our sauce done. Just have a little taste. Lovely, just a pinch of salt. Some more acidity. Alright, some lemon juice. And we're just going to monte that with a bit more butter, okay? So when we froth it, it just makes a nice foam, alright? Set the hand blender up. So we're nearly ready on the dish. So the raviolis will take about 3 minutes to cook, okay? Just gonna get that on there. So just check the consistency of this. You can see it's frothing nicely. Take a bit more butter. When I say a bit more butter, I mean a lot more butter. So we don't want to get this too hot, okay? So if we take this past 80 degrees, it's not going to froth, all right? So it's a little bit longer. So just waiting on the raviolis, okay? We're just waiting on the water to come up. We've got our bowls, jug. Obviously we have our grapefruit as well, our basil oil. So what we're going to do is we're going to cook once the raviolis are in the water, take about 3 minutes, and then we'll pour that into the sauce into there, and then we'll just dress the raviolis. Just check seasoning again. Lovely. Only a bit more salt. Sorry, we're just waiting for the water. Just drop that in, so a bit of salt in here. Okay, a bit of salt and there's a bit of oil. And then we just lightly oil the tray so it doesn't stick to the tray when we take it out. So 3 minutes, get our timer to make sure they're not sticking to the bottom. So you don't want the water to be like rapidly boiling, otherwise it just breaks up all your raviolis. You just want the water ticking over there, okay? Make sure our sauce is the right temperature. Alright, so 2 more minutes. This is the boring part, waiting. So we have our grapefruit. And like, you don't have to use grapefruit, you can use lemon, you can use lime if you really wanted to. Some pickled ginger. There's loads of different things that you could do. A bit of caviar if you really wanted to push the boat out. Alright, so that's our timer. So I'm just going to pull this out. Then we'll start by dressing. So we just put the basil oil in the bottom of the bottom. Just going to put a bit of grapefruit. In the bowl. Grapefruit. Take our bisque, we give it a final little blitz. Alright. Pour into our sauce boat. And then when we get to the table, just pour on top. And that's it, guys, all right? So that's the first dish of the Doonbeg ravioli with grapefruit and lemongrass bisque, all right?
So thank you for joining us, and thank you especially to our chefs for taking part in this chef demo series at the Limerick Milk Market. Our sponsors, I have to say a big thank you to, because we couldn't do this without you. We hope you enjoyed it. Look for the other videos on our YouTube channel. Follow us on our other social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and please check out pigtown.ie, where you'll find out all about Limerick Food Group, Pigtown, and everything else that we do. Thanks.